So let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Nobody's spirituality is Instagram worthy. Not mine, not yours, and definitely not the person with the perfectly curated Bible verses in their bio. Faith isn't always a picturesque sunrise. Sometimes it's a Category 5 hurricane of doubt, questions, and scrambled prayers. But maybe, just maybe, that's the whole point. I'm Theology Jack, your guide to exploring life's questions and mysteries. Okay, imagine this. You're trying to keep a houseplant alive, and no matter what you do, water, light, pleading with the universe, it keeps drooping like a teenager at a family reunion. Now picture your spiritual life. Same vibe, right? There's this pressure to have it all together. Daily devotions, deep prayers, profound insights. But in reality, it's overwatered, undernourished, and clinging to life by a thread. Here's the thing. Messy spirituality is not a failure. It's real. And honestly, I think it's where some of the most profound growth happens. We've been sold this weird idea that faith is supposed to be a straight line. Like you believe, you grow, you achieve spiritual enlightenment, cue the harp music. But who came up with that? Jesus didn't roll up to the disciples with a 5-step self-improvement plan. He showed up, invited people into chaos, and said, "Follow me." No PowerPoints, no YouTube videos, no workbook, just radical uncertainty. And yet we still fall into the trap of spiritual perfectionism. Churches hand us metaphors about gardens, harvest, and clean slates. And social media doesn't help. Everyone seems to have their faith together. Meanwhile, your spiritual life feels like the junk drawer where you keep old batteries, receipts, and a weird screwdriver that doesn't fit anything. But here's the kicker. The Bible is stuffed with messy spirituality. David, he wrote Psalms that bounce between, "God, you're amazing," and "God, where even are you?" Jonah literally ran from his calling and he sulked under a bush. Peter, what'd he do? Denied Jesus 3 times, and he still got handed the keys to the church. It's not like they graduated from Faith 101 before they got their God moments. They were right there in the thick of the mess. Take Jacob, for example. The dude wrestled with God all night. Not prayed, he didn't fast, but full on grappled, wrestled until dawn. That's messy faith. And what happened? God didn't smite him. He blessed him. Okay, he gave him a limp, sure, but he also got a new name. And apparently God is perfectly fine with us showing up bruised, battered, and a little bit cranky. So why do we keep pretending our faith lives should look like Pinterest boards? Maybe it's because neatness is comforting. If you can organize your sock drawer, why not your spirituality? But real faith is more like trying to organize spaghetti. You're going to get sauce everywhere, and there's absolutely no way to untangle it all perfectly. When we idolize tidy spirituality, we leave no room for doubt, struggle, or questioning. And let's be real, those are the moments where God does some of the deepest work. When life punches you in the gut and all you can manage is a whispered, "Help." That's prayer. When you're not sure if you even believe anymore, but you still show up, that's faith. Here's the big relief. God's not out there keeping score. Really. You're not getting bonus points for journaling 5 days in a row or praying in King James English. God meets us right in the mess, not in some hypothetical, cleaned up version of ourselves. Think about the prodigal son. The kid comes home reeking of bad choices, and his dad doesn't say, "Hey, buddy, clean yourself up first." Nope. He throws a party while the guy is still wearing the metaphorical stink of pigs. That's God. He's not waiting for you to figure everything out before showing up. Messy spirituality is saying grace when you're mad at God. It's reading a single verse because that's all you can handle. It's showing up at church even when you don't feel like it, or maybe skipping church because you can't. It's cobbling together a faith that doesn't always make sense, but somehow keeps you going. And it's also questions. That's why this channel's around. Big, uncomfortable questions like, why does God let bad things happen? Or does prayer even work? Spoiler alert, asking those questions doesn't mean you're a bad Christian. It means actually you're paying attention. Somewhere along the way, we get the idea that faith is about having all the answers. But faith isn't certainty, it's trust. It's walking into the fog, not knowing what's on the other side. And yeah, sometimes that feels terrifying. But it's also where beauty lives, in not knowing, in the reaching, in the messy middle. Honestly, I think God loves the mess. It's where the good stuff happens. Like when a seed falls into dirt, it doesn't grow because the dirt's tidy. It grows because the dirt's messy. And that messiness, that's where the life is. The disciples didn't get it together before they followed Jesus. In fact, they were a train wreck most of the time. Think about it, arguing about who's the greatest, missing the whole point of parables, running away when things got tough. And yet, Jesus built a church on their wobbly faith. If God can work with that, he can work with your mess too, and mine. So, how do we lean into messy spirituality? Start by being honest with yourself, with others, with God. If you're struggling, say it. If you're doubting, admit it. Vulnerability is where connection happens. Next, I want you to ditch the idea that you have to do faith a certain way. Prayer doesn't have to be fancy. Worship doesn't have to be polished. Just show up however you can. And finally, give yourself grace. You're not a spiritual robot. Some days you'll feel on fire for God, and some days you'll feel like you're talking to a brick wall. Both are okay. And here's the truth. Faith is never going to look perfect. It's going to be a little wild, a little broken, and a lot real, but maybe that's the point. Maybe God is less interested in the neatly packaged version of us and more interested in the raw, unfiltered, beautifully messy reality of who we are. Let me know what you think and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading everything and might even include your question in a future video. And hey, click like just to be cool. And if you dig this kind of content, hit subscribe. Let's map ideas that can change the world together. Thanks for watching till the end, fellow explorers. Stay curious and embrace the mystery. This is Theology Jack, signing off.